Elections in Kumewu hangs in balance as the vetting committee is yet to take a decision on them, while clearing 6 others to contest.
They have taken their ballot already. The last person was 6 or something. Yeah, and I start with 2. We are going to look into their papers before we can clear them.
Consumers of petroleum products to pay more for fuel as oil marketing companies increase prices at the pumps in the second pricing window in April.
First, out of 200, this year it's out of 250. And son, I'll be to me. And as I say, yes, I know, yeah, and one go for a 4 months. I'm fair no charge you more. Say no, Mutia first, and Sana or Mutia mind. I might have a phone. You won't let it be.
And Chief Chancellor Minister assures government's commitment to end protracted Boko conflict.
The number one job for any government, if you are worth a salt, is to maintain law and order. That's number one job. If you wake up in the morning, you must be free enough to do what you want to do.
Later on, CNR Extra will take you to Cheponi in the northern region, where 12 communities have been connected to the national electricity grid after years of living in darkness.
This year, we have about 12 communities that are to benefit from the rural electrification. This is the first community we have come to commence the rural electrification. This is Akobla number 1.
Once again, welcome to CNR Express live on CTV. You can join us with your thoughts, submissions, and comments via WhatsApp line 0204-447033. We are streaming live on YouTube, and you can join us there on CityTube. Hansen Ajiman, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, my brother.
How's the weekend?
It was a good one, a good weekend.
We are beaming with smiles.
Oh, you know, when you have a very good weekend, you know that the next week will be good.
Let's bring you the very first story, and let's take it to the Ashanti region, specifically Kumewu, where the fate of 2 aspiring parliamentary candidates, hopefully, let me put it that way, their fate is not yet determined by the vetting committee. Let's bring you that insight.
Fate of 2 prospective aspirants seeking to lead the new patriotic party, that is the NPP, in the upcoming by-election at Kumewu hangs in the balance as the vetting committee is yet to clear them. The committee, which will not disclose its reasons, says the issues are internal. City News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani has more.
The new Patriotic Party has set Sunday, April 23, 2023, to select a candidate ahead of the by-election at Kumewu. The Electoral Commission is yet to officially announce a date for the by-election after the Kumewu parliamentary seat was declared vacant following the demise of the sitting Member of Parliament, Philip Baswa. The MPP, which is preparing for the election on Sunday, vetted 8 persons seeking to lead the party. The chairman of the vetting committee, Dankwa Smith-Bote, after the process revealed that 2 persons are yet to be cleared.
They have taken their ballot already. The last person was 6 or something. Yeah, and I start with 2. We are going to look into their papers before we can clear them. They are all credible, but I'm not going to vote. The police says people are going to vote. So this will rather bring us somebody who will win the seat for us. Good. Internal issue, I can't discuss it here.
The prospective aspirants are pledging to unite behind any candidate who will emerge victorious in the party's internal election.
It sets a very good tone for our campaign, and I'm confident and I believe in the God that I serve, that by close of Sunday, victory will be ours. When you come to the constituency and you do your own research, everybody knows, and it's so clear. The leading candidates we know, and for me, I am confident in the work that I have done for our party.
We were made to pledge and support any of our contestants who will emerge as a winner, and that we will not go out there and contest as independent candidates if we eventually did not qualify. And also we will not go and support any other political party or any other independent candidate who does not belong to the party.
I have not known any party apart from the NPP. Fundamentally, I was born into the NPP. I have passed through the ranks and file of the party to become the first vice chairman. I have never supported any independent candidates. And I promise, even if it does not go in my favor, I am still MPP forever. I follow MPP, and I'm a true patriot.
I've signed the code of conduct. I mean, I'm a law-abiding citizen, so there is no way that I'll go against my party and my country.
That explains you are hitting the ground running.
Certainly. I've already started, and it's going very well. Like I said the last time, it is the residents themselves that brought me, and I know exactly what they want. And I know that they are the ones leading my campaign. They are the ones, obviously, talking to friends. They are doing the peer-to-peer. They are doing the engagements. So it is really good.
This is just a reiteration. We do not have time to have dissension in the camp. It is important that we rally behind whoever wins and ensure victory, and a resounding one at that. And I'm very willing to do that. I think it's a battle of equals. I have a lot of respect for my colleagues who are also standing. And I think we are standing boot to boot. But as my people like to say here, Oba Omua Eye.
Oh, absolutely. You have to. We made a pledge to commit to the process, and that is that irrespective of the outcome of the vetting or the outcome of the eventual election, you remain faithful to peaceful election. That is very important.
MPP's national organizer, Henry Nanabuachi, is confident the MPP will win massively in the by-election.
We should be having the primaries, and I hope that by close of day next week, we should have our parliamentary candidate. From what we are hearing, the Electoral Commission intends to hold the by-election on the 23rd of May. So we have started our processes, and because we have a long way to go, there is our seat. We intend to win and win big. So we have started our preparation. So far, so good. We are happy with the processes so far.
The party has also done balloting for the qualified aspirants ahead of the internal election.
The leadership of the New Patriotic Party says it is ensuring that all delegates are united ahead of the by-election. Hafiz Tijani, City News, Kumewu, Ashanti region.
So that's what is coming from Kumewu constituency in the Ashanti region. Hafiz Tijani is our correspondent in the Ashanti region, and he is covering the Kumewu by-elections or whatever relates to these elections extensively. Let's speak to him on phone. Hafiz, if you can hear me, what exactly is the issue with the two individuals whose fate haven't been determined by the vetting committee as of now? And also, who are these two?
Well, so the party will not officially speak about the details of these two persons and also the reasons for the decision to hold on to the clearing of these persons as far as the vetting is concerned. But we have done our own digging to find out that these persons are being withheld, or the results of their vetting is being withheld because they have some issues relating to dual citizenship. You recall, or you know, an issue is still pending in Parliament. Talk of the Aston North Member of Parliament, Jati Kwesi. That issue is still trending. So we are told that our sources are saying that the party is treading so cautiously. They don't want to take that risk in getting some of these people passed, so that eventually when they win the primaries and they become or win the main election and they become the Member of Parliament for the area, is going to have the party to drag its feet as far as these issues are concerned. So we are learning that these issues concern dual citizenship. That is why the party is treading cautiously to ensure that they don't fall into that trap. So the party will not give further details or official details on that. They say they will issue a statement in the course of the week to give the outcome, the full outcome of the vetting exercise, which was done yesterday. And these two persons, we are also told by our sources, are the one lawyer, Edward Osei. He contested Philip Baswa the other time during the primaries, and he came up second in terms of results, and he's contesting now again, and he has not been cleared. That is one. And the Hefra boss, who is in the person of Dr. Bano, Dr. Philip Bano, he is also not being cleared because of these issues. But the rest of the 6 have been cleared, and balloting have been done for these 6 persons. So the party, we are told, would meet these 2 persons again before Wednesday to finalize on the decision. So by Wednesday, the party, we are told, would state out the reasons they are holding on to this, or whether or not they are going to clear them.
And Hafiz, concerning this, does it mean that the 6 that have been cleared have begun their campaign, so to speak, and the other 2 currently are on hold?
Exactly. For them, they are going to hit the ground running because now the party has cleared them and they are going to start their campaign. Although they have been engaging the delegates, but this is not official, though they engage the delegates in some of the electoral areas. But now that the party has cleared them and they know the balloting, the position of the balloting, they can now campaign and even give out the numbers so that when the delegates go on that day, that will be 3rd April on Sunday to vote, they will be able to identify and then vote for them respectively. So let me just run you to some of the people who have been cleared. We have Kwame Osei Bempa, and then we have Kwame Appiakobi. He has been cleared. And we have Yaoba. Yaoba was a former is a former member of parliament for that area. He was defeated by the late MP Philip Baswa, and Yaoba is contesting in this race again. And we have Dr. Abuadi Bakosta. He has also been cleared. And we have Enes Yaopelim. He has also been cleared. And we have Amasewa. He has also been cleared. So Dr. Philip Bano and lawyer Edward Osei, we are told, actually on hold. But these 6 persons have been cleared and their ballot has been done. So they say that now they can go all out and campaign ahead of the internal election.
Hafiz, thank you so much for your time and giving us in-depth understanding of what is happening in the constituency concerning the things that the party is doing, that is the NPP, ahead of the by-elections. Well, he made mention of the 6 that have been cleared and also the 2 that have not been cleared. But the 2, in a way, I think I heard them saying that if it goes in their favor or not, they are still members of the NPP and would remain so.
I think that the party, and from the engagements that Hafiz had with them yesterday, the party is trying as much as possible to get that assurance from them that they are committing to unity and that this unity will not affect the parties.
Especially when it's a very strong hold of the NPP. And
if you go into the dynamics of elections in Kumewu, you'll get to understand why the party is bent on making sure that all the persons who are passed to go for vetting will commit to pledge their support for anybody who emerges victorious at the end of the day. Now, Kumewu, if you look at the facts, arguably you can say is a safe seat for the NPP. The least percentage they've won with respect to Parliament was in 2020, which was 51.11%. But prior to 2020, the least was 56.4%. That was in 2008. And then the NDC's best performance was in 1996, 37.6%. Now, in 2020, something interesting happened. Bia Kweku, he contested the primaries with the late Philip Baswa. He lost and he went independent.
Okay.
Now, he managed to get close to 40%. That's about 39.96%. The NDC's best performance was 37.6%.
And the independent was more than.
And the independent
what
who
NDC
came
got.
in 2020 had 39.96%. And already he has given an indication that he wants to contest the seat again as an independent candidate. And so the NPP is very careful, and all these things will go into them in detail as the by-election takes shape. But the point is that the Kumawu by-election won't be a straightforward thing, because you have Bia Kweku, who managed to get 39.96% votes in 2020, contesting, and then you have new faces coming up. And so the last thing that you want to get is to get another person who is an NPP person,
a face of the NPP who will say he's going independent.
And then you'll be having
that will
two
really
independent
hurt the party.
And that may affect the party in the constituency. And so we would wait for the vetting committee first to come out with their results on these two persons, and also await the Electoral Commission as it sets the date for the by-election.
So we'll be following this keenly, and all updates that is needed concerning the by-elections, and also who becomes the leader into the by-elections for the NPP. Certainly, we are going to bring you all the updates here on CCTV. Away from this story to another story that I would actually affect all of us, let me put it that way, and that has to do with a petroleum product that consumers would have to pay more for fuel as some oil marketing companies increase prices at the pumps in the second pricing window in April.
Consumers of petroleum products will from Monday begin to pay more for the products. This is because fuel prices are beginning to significantly increase at some oil marketing companies are upwardly adjusting the prices in the second pricing window in April. There is more in the following report by City News' Daniel Sakite and read to you by Hassan Ajuman.
The first quarter of 2023 recorded significant drop in fuel prices at various pumps. According to analysts in the petroleum industry, this was due to the fall in crude prices on the international market. Government, however, insisted that a drop in prices at the pumps was as a result of the good for oil policy. But the consistent decline in fuel prices is beginning to change as City News checks at various outlets review upward adjustments. A litre of petrol, which sold at 12 cedis 65 pesos in the first pricing window at Total Energies, for instance, is now selling at 13 cedis 20 pesos, while diesel, which sold at 12 cedis 84 pesos, is also selling at 13 cedis 20 pesos. Some drivers who visited the pumps on Sunday were surprised to see the increase. They tell City News this will have a negative impact on their business.
From Monday to Saturday, almost 2 months, we have been say at home. But see, I say, almost per se, almost every year, I Ghana for you, say, almost we are, and I said, because we are share chrono, because and then Sunday party, I hear 2 for my first out of 200, to say it's out of 250, and Sana over to me, I map. And as I say, I know, I know, yeah, and 1 for months, so fair no charge you more. Say no mutia first na sa na mutia mind amaye driver for no ye ho kire da bia isi no adwuma na ye no enyina adwuma ye nyina ye top petrol o wi adwuma wi o kwaji atanko aji 1.5 asa na o kwaye ss ayin na o de be kofie ye wo families ye man ko school isi ja ye ntumi kofie kwa bia ye da ka mu sa de na tie kofie bia because of for na of 20 ye ntumi kofie because kofie o ni ska kwa ye ofie.
Fuel price is going up again. I think it's going to affect our sales. I don't know why the price is going up again. So we are begging the government to at least do something about it. Because if fuel price goes up again, I don't think it will help us. So we are begging the government to at least sustain the fuel price for now. When it was coming down, at least work was doing good. But now I don't know if it goes up to like 15 or 16. I think you have to stop the work because it won't help the work at all.
Say fuel price and the cost of fair any day and two. It's a fair baby agent. I just say a cost of kakra and sana yes or no yet to me out to a fame. See a high effort here.
The Chamber for Petroleum Consumers COPEC, in an earlier statement predicting an increment in fuel prices in the second pricing window in April, said that this is as a result of crude price seeing a rise on the international market and a decline in depreciation of the local currency, amongst others. COPEC Executive Director Duncan Amoah has been speaking to City News on the development.
When you speak to some of the OMCs, you get the indication that there could be also cross-pricing. So instead of me increasing petrol and reducing LPG, and for that matter diesel, I might decide to sustain the prices, and where necessary, if I need to go up a little bit on, petrol, or come down further on diesel so that prices merge or meet at some point. I'm sure that will be done, but whatever happens, by close of day tomorrow, the 16th of April, the pumps, we believe, would have responded. But give or take, diesel, LPG could come down by between 4 and 5%. Petrol, unfortunately, could go up by some 2-3% marginally.
Now, of course, it's obvious that the hike in fuel prices wouldn't go anytime soon. But just in recent times, the prices reduced, and we were all excited when government also attributed it to the fact that the gold for oil policy is working well. So where did we go wrong? Because from what COPEC is saying, from what has been said, that the depreciation of the cedi as of now, and as of now, the cedi has gained some strength.
So the last time we had an engagement properly on the gold for oil, I remember speaking to the Association of Oil Marketing Companies. At the time, the indication was that the gold for oil policy accounted for about over 20% of the market demand of fuel prices at the pumps. And so 80% was sourced directly from the international market. And so if you do the comparison, 80% directly from the international market and say 20% from gold for oil, the level of impact the 20% will have on 80% of the other market share would not be that significant. And the Association of Oil Marketing Companies made that known, indicated that we can truly appreciate the impact of the gold for oil policy when there's at least a 50% share in the market demand at the pumps. Now, it's out there that international markets are going up.
Yes.
I mean, and so that has been the conversation every time, that if you look at the fact that Ghana do not have a control over international market, the price at the international market, it's most likely that when prices go up in the international market, it will trickle down and prices will go up here. The argument on gold for oil, and sometimes the argument you hear from government spokespersons, will be that but for the gold for oil, the increment may be higher than what we are seeing. But we've also seen analysis done by groups like IES and COPEC that suggests that the 5% increment that we are seeing is within the range of the factors caused by external incidents. And so we can only ask government to make sure that we do not go back to the days of 2022 where
when
there was that
17 cities and 21 cities.
Yes, to the extent that the prices of fuel will literally direct the prices of everything in the country. And I mean, you use fuel for, it's that commodity whose pricing affects a lot of products. So if there's an increment in fuel prices, most likely transport operators will ask for an increment in transport fares. If there's an increment in transport fares, the market woman going to pick her things would definitely have to increase the cost of the product to at least break even. And then that will mean that the consumer who is going to buy it will have to pay more to get the commodity.
So in a way, it's going to increase inflation rate.
In a way, if unchecked, can lead to an increment in the cost of living. And I mean, 2022 is a testament of what we went through as a result of unchecked increment in fuel prices. There's still the conversation on good for oil, whether we still have to maintain it, the transparency, how we can make it more effective so that the gold that we are channeling into purchasing the oil, we are getting value for it, and that the Ghanaian who goes to the pump will not have to pay more for fuel.
It's obvious a lot of factors come to play here, but the end user or the consumer only see the price increase or decrease on the displayed price billboard or something of that sort at the various pumps. But the various stakeholders should take up this issue, and maybe there are some explanations that are needed to be given to the public to understand further these things to be very much important. Away from that story, and let's take you to Boko, where the new Minister of Chieftaincy has hit the grounds running, and he says that he's going to ensure that the protracted conflict in Boko is brought to an end.
Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Stephen Asamoah-Boateng, has assured the people of Boko in the Upper East region that government will use legitimate means and the rule of law to resolve the protracted ethnic conflict in the area. The conflict has resulted in the loss of lives and properties, making the vibrant business hub municipality a ghost town with high attrition of public sector workers to safer areas to work. But the minister says efforts are underway to design a roadmap with feuding factions to bring a lasting peace to the area.
The protracted Boko ethnic conflict has over the years claimed lives and caused destruction to property, running into thousands of Ghana cedis. The impasse between the feuding factions in the conflict, that's Kusasis and Mamprosis, have also led to mass attrition of essential service providers and the closure of other public institutions. Stakeholders have thus bemoaned the impact of the conflict on the development of the area and appealed to government to find a lasting solution to the Boko ethnic conflict. Even though efforts made by government through the Boko Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee to bring lasting peace to the area has not yielded the desired results, government is optimistic of finding lasting peace to Boko.
We believe in the rule of law. We believe in the rule of law. The number one job for any government, if you are worth a salt, is to maintain law and order. That's number one job. If you wake up in the morning, you must be free enough to do what you want to do. If you are healthy, which God will give you, and you have the ability to fend for yourself, it is the state's responsibility to protect you. And that I can assure you, and that is the assurance I can give you, law and order is always at the heart of government. And the rule of law is our belief, and we would pursue it and make sure that people are happy and people abide by the rule of law so that we can all live peacefully. And I know sometimes we have to go behind the scenes, and that's what I assure you. I'll go behind the scenes, we will do a private chat, and we will draw a roadmap. There will be a roadmap that we can all follow. I know there will be difficulties along the way. I know there will be challenges along the way. I know there will be compromises along the way. I know the core values will be protected so that you don't compromise too much too. So at the end of it, there will be peace, lasting peace. At the end of it, the nation will be one people with one common agenda.
Peaceful coexistence in Boku, and this is the focus of the chieftaincy minister. And I think it's a step in the right direction because Boku has been in the news for quite some time now, and it has to do with one issue of conflict or the other, the military and also civilians in that community, nurses fleeing, schools being closed, individuals are unable to stay in the community, amongst others. So if this is what government, through the chieftaincy minister, wants to achieve, I think it's a laudable idea.
There's every reason as a people we have to work towards ending the conflict in Boko. The reasons you've adduced, very important. The threat of terrorism, and if you speak to security analysts, they tell you how terrorist organizations sometimes thrive on some of these issues. The other issue has to do with the location of Boko. Now, if you look at where Boko is located, it's a major market center, bordered by a number of our neighboring countries. Talk about Burkina Faso to the north, Togo to the east, Benin and Niger are not so distant from Boko. And when we are talking about the conversation about AFTA and about intra-Africa trade, with such a strategic town, we need peace to reign so that we can benefit from the intra-Africa trade that a lot of development analysts have been propagating.
Exactly, this is very important. So the individuals, both factions, any individual or stakeholders who is supposed to contribute a way or the other to ensure that there's lasting peace in Boko. You just want to join or add your quota to what the minister wants to do in that particular area. You're still watching CNR Extra here on City TV. Still to come. It will take you to Tripoli in the northern region, where 12 communities have been connected to the national grid after years of living in darkness. Stay with us, we're back with more stories.
Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
You're welcome back. This is CNR Extra here on CCTV. My name is Philip Nihlachi. I'm here with Hansen Ajiman. You can equally join us via our WhatsApp line 0204-447033, and we are streaming live on YouTube on CCTV. Let's bring you some more stories. And let's take you to the Western region, where some cocoa farmers are urging government or the Ghana Cocoa Board to increase its 1% contribution towards cocoa farmers' pension scheme.
Some cocoa farmers in the Western region are urging the Ghana Cocoa Board to increase its 1% contribution towards the cocoa farmers' pension scheme to enable them have adequate compensation when on pension. Speaking to City News during a Ghana Cocoa Board sensitization program for cocoa farmers at the Wasap Manson in the Mpoho district of the Western region, the farmers, while welcoming the Cocoa Farmers Pension Scheme, said an increase in the Cocoa Board contribution would be more beneficial.
The Cocoa Farmers Pension Scheme was a campaign promise aimed at empowering farmers to help better their livelihoods even after retiring. After several years of waiting for the scheme to be rolled out, it is now set to take off. The Cocoa Farmers Pension Scheme expects farmers to contribute 5% of their cocoa produce, while Cocoa Board will add 1% to their contribution. Speaking on the sidelines of a Cocoa Board organized sensitization program for farmers at Wasamanso and Anoma Obidi in the Mpoho district and Hunter West municipality respectively, the public affairs manager of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Fifi Boafo, gave an overview of the scheme and the expectation.
Farmers are supposed to contribute 5% of their produce every time they go to the cocoa shed. This 5% contribution, Cocoa Board will also contribute 1%, and the trustees will manage the funds on behalf of the cocoa farmers. Farmers are supposed to contribute to age 55, but mindful of the fact that already there are farmers who are beyond age 55. So the arrangement is such that those who are beyond 50 are supposed to contribute a minimum of 5 years and they can benefit. The farmer pension scheme, we've created 2 different accounts. One account is supposed to work throughout the period, and the other account, the 25%, the farmers have the opportunity in a critical situation, for example, financing their children's education, to fall on that 25% to do so before the retiring age. When the farmers retire, they are supposed to receive a lump sum, and then they have a minimum of 15 years also to benefit in terms of their monthly pension benefits they are supposed to receive. After the 15 years, if the farmer is still alive, the farmer will continue to still enjoy the monthly benefits. But in a situation whereby the farmer passes after the 15 years, then that is the end of it. But even before the 15 years, if the farmer should pass, then the beneficiaries of the farmer will also benefit from the contribution the farmer has made. If we look at the cocoa management system, the registration we did, of course, we still realize that there are some farmers who have not still been captured. But those who have been captured are beyond 700. So the estimation is that we are supposed to capture at least about 800,000 cocoa farmers in Ghana.
While the farmers welcome the scheme as a good policy, they however called on Cocoa Board to increase its contribution to the scheme.
I feel happy for my friend because next 2 years by this time, my father will go for pension. And because the government have brought the pension pay scheme or everything, it will help my father. And even when we go and put and sell the cocoa, we get money. And also at the end of everything, the pension will help my father to even look after the siblings that are coming. So I'm happy. I appreciate what the government did, and I'm proud of the government. I hope this will continue to tilt.
I'm glad that Cocoa Board has brought this pension scheme into existence. By God's grace, we have waited for long. We thank Cocoa Board executives that they have think about us and they have brought this pension scheme. For now, I think what I want them to do is that 1% that they will add, if they can increase it for us, because I will do my own that they are saying 5%, but I will extend it to about 15% so that I can enjoy a lot at the end of.
So the farmers are asking Ghana Cocoa Board to increase it from 1%, but they didn't state how many percent they want in that report. But this was actually launched in December 2020 by President Akufo-Addo. That is the scheme to provide guaranteed retirement benefits to over 1.5 million cocoa farmers across the country. And I think it's very important that if you are a worker and you are working assiduously, you should ensure that the employer or whoever is in charge gets the pension done very well, so that when you retire, you don't suffer. I think this is what the cocoa farmers are also trying to push, that Cocoa Board should push further for them.
Well, I think that the concept and the principle behind the initiative, it's understandable and must be commended. And we can only hope that a lot more cocoa farmers would buy into this. But they buy into this because, unlike in a formal establishment, like in a workplace where it may be deducted directly from the source, in this instance, it will require some level of commitment on the part of the farmer himself or herself to be involved in it. And I think that having a good retirement plan is okay. And that's why the farmers are saying that aside we giving 5% contribution, they think that 1% is not enough. And I think that Cocoa Board should look into this. And talking about the welfare of cocoa farmers, I don't think that we should limit it to conversations about their retirement. We should be concerned as to how the cocoa farmer in his or her lifetime can also enjoy the proceeds of his or her work, because we know that cocoa farms are threats because farmers are giving out their farms to illegal miners, to other persons for other purposes, because they find those ventures more lucrative than farming themselves. And so conversations about the producer price of cocoa, increment in the price, all these conversations should be taken seriously by the government. Perceptions about how Cocoa Board scholarships are sometimes not even given to cocoa farmers themselves. All these should be taken seriously and make sure that in the lifetime of the cocoa farmer, he or she enjoys from the fruit of his or her labor, and also this retirement package, make sure that when they go on retirement and are not able to farm again, they can benefit and live a meaningful life.
We just hope and pray that Cocoa Board will look into this and also at least heed to the plea of the cocoa farmers. Away from the story, let's take you to the northern region, specifically in Tripoli, where 12 communities have been connected to the national electricity grid after years of living in darkness.
There was palpable excitement in some 12 communities in the Chirepone district of the northeast region after they were connected to the national grid. For community members, the development, which was through the efforts of the Member of Parliament for the area, will positively impact their livelihoods. There's more in the following report by our Northeast Regional Correspondent, Mohammed Aminu M. Alabira.
Electricity has become an integral part of our lives, and any community without power will obviously be impeded in its developmental efforts. This was the situation in some communities in the Chirepone district in the northeast region. The communities were without electricity, and women especially were the most affected. Charging of mobile phones is also a big challenge, as they also travel to other places with electricity to charge their phones. The Member of Parliament for Chirepone, Honorable Tahidu Abdul Razak, tells City News that during his campaign in 2020, the communities complained to him and he promised to get them connected to the national grid, which he has fulfilled. For now, 12 communities have been connected, and this will definitely improve the living conditions of the residents. Abdul Razak outlined the importance of the electricity to the communities.
This year we have about 12 communities that are to benefit from the rural electrification. This is the first community we have come to commence the rural electrification. This is Akobla number 1, and from here we are going to number 2, then Nandri and Quinchi, before we go to Angor. Yes, we have handed over and commenced the place. We have commenced the place and handed over to the community. But what I told them was that, one, the importance of light. This light will help us educate our young ones who are upcoming. They can use this light for their extra classes or preps during the night. Also, our women who normally carry meals from the community to Cherokee Town to mail will no longer do that. Our parents can now have access to cool water, chill water as we are in the fasting or this Ramadan. Besides, most of our people here will have to use this light religiously for other, because for today the Muslims can use it to start their Tahajjud prayers in the mosque. So that is one and two importance of electricity in a community.
Some of the community members who spoke to City News were full of praise for the MP, saying their lives can now be improved as they will engage in other economic activities.
Some of our women, they are doing business. Like they bought fridge down, they are going to use the fridge and selling of drinks and pure water. So it's going to help us a lot. Thank you very much.
MPP squaba wura agina no wayo nkame tinti to na NDC squaba opo MPP squaba kakaba to mi sika nyibombo fo ka bobu yone be mo ankonja nga wo ka ken no nyaare shesia to buka yo buda nyaare amanyuma so bo ya basu nyini de kemble na so yo jama fefie blene ni ama bia ne muwa ne e fanyemeda yashi.
Women say they will heave a sigh of relief as they will no longer travel long distances to go grind their flour, among others.
Endi hum fasona eni yankwada ina omwaninti free janoso lekabu ya kurela mzuri kaso neno faksme diwaha ya la kuku ya fakongo ya diwaha ya nyamu ya kongo ya wake shin yiri wa bukaye.
Without electricity now can now heave a sigh of relief. That is a resident there. That's a good news. And I think that if it's NETCO, right, in the northern part of Ghana, NETCO. So the needed measures must be put in place so that we don't have issues of illegal connection, issues of, because when these measures are put in place, certainly the residents there would now use the electricity there judiciously.
Well, the rural electrification program that started somewhere in 1991 has really increased access to electricity in rural communities. Various research documents have been published, which has that.
After this break.
City TV is live on DSTV. Go to channel 363. On GoTV, access.
Welcome back. Let's take you to the Volta region where the use of reusable sanitary towels has increased enrollment.
Sanitary towels significantly reducing truancy among girls in basic schools. The cost of mental health care has been cited as a contributory factor to the high teenage pregnancy numbers and school dropouts among young girls across Ghana. But with the introduction of reusable sanitary towels dubbed voter pads, authorities are confident teenage pregnancy and school dropout numbers will significantly drop. There is more in this report.
Education in the Volta region of Ghana is greatly challenged by a number of issues, including accessibility and the lack of infrastructure, forcing children of school-going ages to walk several miles to access education in sometimes very dilapidated or non-existent classroom facilities. Girls are further challenged due to the lack of menstrual pads. They are sometimes forced to stay out of the classroom during their menstrual cycles. This is mostly owing to the sheer cost of disposable menstrual towels, which are taxed in Ghana. A UNESCO report estimates that 1 in 10 girls in sub-Saharan Africa misses school during their menstrual cycle. The report further suggests that many girls drop out of school altogether once they begin menstruating. Natlin is an 18-year-old JHS2 pupil of the Adaklo-Guepe DA Beze School in the Adaklo district of the Volta region. Natlin lives with a caregiver who is not her biological parent, as is the case with many young girls in peri-urban Ghana. Natlin's caregivers are not able to afford a daily stipend for her to feed while in school. A disposable sanitary pad thus becomes a luxury item on her list of needs. According to Natlin's teacher, Natlin and other girls in her class often are unable to afford sanitary towels and avoid school during their menstrual periods.
You know, the Adakulo community is a farming community, and the parents are not well to do. So when their daughters are in their menstrual cycle, they found it very difficult to support them by supplying the sanitary pad that they use. So when they're in that cycle or season, they do not come to school regularly. It affects their attendance.
Natlin says she often resorts to the use of rags during menstruation.
When you grow up, what do you want to be?
I want to be a soldier in future.
A soldier?
Yes.
Hey, I see. Okay, that's fine. Tell me about your menstrual life, right? When you're in your cycle, what happens? Tell me about it.
Okay, thank you for the question. In my menstrual life, I face a lot of problems, which I don't have money to buy pad and those things. If sometimes my uncle buy pad for me, and if I don't have, my uncle doesn't have money to buy it for me, I'll use cloth. Sometimes if I came to school, I stay in my dress.
Headmistress of the Adaklo-Guepe DA Beze School, Stella Kuda, says the challenge with period poverty is a major hurdle to teaching and learning.
As of menstrual issues, it's quite a big issue because there are cases where girls don't come to school because they are in their menses, and there are times the girls will come to school and they get stained. You will see a girl sitting down the whole day. She wouldn't move even if they are on break. And if you are not smart enough to notice it, you realize that the girl will be there the whole day till they close. So because of this, we know these issues. We are always alert, looking out for such girls. So girls miss school 5 days, 7 days, depending on how long they flow. So it's a great issue. It's a great issue in the school. There are people who come around to give them disposable pads. So when they get stained that way, we help them out with such pads. So it's an issue. It has affected the attendance of girls, especially in the school.
About a month ago, the Amenufe Foundation, which produces Ghana's only reusable sanitary towels in collaboration with a New York university, donated the reusable towels to the girls as part of their corporate social responsibility. Mr. Hubert Agboklu says truancy amongst his female students has reduced drastically.
Yes,
pads have been given out to them, and that has changed a lot in their life, because I've realized that it increased the attendance rate in the school, and you also always see them happy because they know that when they are in that cycle, there's hope for them. So that boosts their morale. Yeah.
So young girls in the Adaklu Gwefe DAJHS say that they are able to show up in school even when they are going through their menstrual cycles because of the reusable sanitary towels that have been donated to them by friends of Adaklu. And this sanitary pad is being produced here in the Volta region, dubbed Volta Pad, standardized by the Ghana Standards Authority. This is a pad that lasts from between a year and a half to 2 years, cutting down the cost of pads significantly. The girls say they hope that these pads will reach several other girls in the Volta region and cut truancy among girls in school due to period poverty. Reporting for City News, my name is Benjamin Aklama from Adaklu Gwefe.
So this is very important because there have been issues concerning girls not being able to go to school when they are in that time of the period. And it's obvious that if this comes on board, or the reasonable one, is going to help them stay in school. CSOs have been calling on government to, as a matter of urgency, review the 20% import tax on sanitary pads, amongst other concerns from various women and all that.
I mean, it's a sad one that we would always have to talk about, making things like this affordable. And for campaigners within the space, they've made the point of how discriminatory the period tax is, how it increases gender inequality. And I think that any sensitive government at all will listen to them, because, I mean, no lady has a choice to choose whether to menstruate or not. And so at the end of the day, it is a must. And so the least the government can do is not to impose taxes to make it expensive. Government should be concerned about making it more affordable.
They are told us some is as high as 20 Ghana cedis as of now, and if you are unable to buy 20 Ghana cedis for that period and you don't have the needed money, that means you are going to stay home if you are schooling. And
I mean, already the whole issue about menstruation has been stigmatized for a very long time. And so the least we can do as a government is to make sure that we put in processes, or we put in mechanisms not to make ladies feel less of themselves when they are going through something that is natural. And I think that it's high time all relevant organizations, and we shouldn't leave it only to gender organizations, civil society organizations, even the CDDs and the rest should actively add their voice to this conversation.
And the product has to be subsidized. We know premix fuel is being subsidized. Other products in this country are being subsidized. Why not sanitary pads? That's how we end today's edition of CNR Extra here on City TV. My name is Philip Nilata. That is with Hansen Ajuman. Many thanks for your time, and keep watching City TV.